Good, you're back. I'm Neom, and today's episode is about Niagara Falls. Please remember to leave it— whoa, that's new. Due to one video doing one thing at the exact same time I posted one, and another starting to do something else, a week ago, we hit 1,000 subscribers. This milestone is bona fide crazy to me, and I can't begin to thank you enough. In my analytics, I see that a lot of you are sharing the videos with your friends, clicking the bell, and generally just doing all the things that make the algorithm happy. I genuinely do not know how to thank you enough for the support and for your patience during those first 15 videos where I was still using MS Paint. But now, let's see how fast we can get to 10,000. At which point, I will be giving away a free, one-of-a-kind Neom t-shirt, signed and everything. So hit that bell, smash that like button, gut punch that comment button, and literally kill and bury that subscribe button. Let's get into it. Let's back the story up for some, backstory. Way back in 1600, British colonizers began settling in what is now known as Canada by some, Canada by most, and I don't know, it's where maple syrup comes from, by the elites. Eventually, in 1876, they would become the Dominion of Canada. But before that, during the War of 1812, which happened in the year 1812, the United States sent troops to wage war against the colonies, believing that the English would be too busy dealing with Napoleon and his Frenchmen to get involved. Get it like henchmen, but instead it's like— anyway. Much to the chagrin of the US, Napoleon was defeated at Waterloo only 2 years later, which freed up the English to send armies to recover their colonial Canadian comrades, effectively kicking the US flat on our A. This is the kind of thing that, historically speaking, often leads to multi-generational hate and revenge seeking. But when World War II ended, both nations gave each other a cautious glance and decided they'd had enough war for the moment. It seems that at that time, trade between the two nations mainly went between New York and Toronto, but there was a problem. Due to the massive, tirelessly heaping rapids of Niagara Falls, the quickest route from one to the other was via one of these two paths, which, as you can see, were pretty far out of the way. They needed to build a bridge over the falls, which would cut their travel distance down by like 50%, making trade cheaper and more efficient. In order to build this bridge, they would need a line of communication, as the Suspension Bridge Builder's Manual of the time put it. A thin rope is tied between points A and B, whereby a stronger rope is tied to one end and pulled across. Then you repeat the process with thicker and thicker cables until you have a taut, strong cable stretching from one side to the other. Once you have that down, the rest of the bridge is a cakewalk. You can now reach any point along the length of the construction area and pass whatever tools you need from one side to the other. But how to get that first line across? In those days, you had a couple of standard options to choose from. Option 1, swim or sail the line across. Option 2, tie a thin thread to an arrow and shoot it across. Or Option 3, walk in the other direction until you've traveled the circumference of the Earth and then simply pull it tight, avoiding any snags along the way, like houses, trees, Mount Everest, you get it. Option 1 wouldn't work because the rapids were far too quick and dangerous in the chosen location, so anyone who tried to cross would be swept away. Option 2 was out because the distance was on the order of 1,000 feet and bows weren't able to shoot that far yet, and Option 3 was a no-go for obvious reasons. They just didn't make string that long. Knowing that none of the current practices would be effective, they held a contest to see who could first manage to get a string across using a kite, the winner of which would win $5, about $200 today. Early in the second day of the contest, 16-year-old Homan Walsh was able to fly his kite from the Canadian side to the American side, and for the rest of his life he would recount the time he connected those two great nations. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe for more content, ring the bell to be notified about new videos, and comment what you want to learn about next. I'm Neom, and I'll see you next time.